Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to another episode of Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Today we're joined by Michael Palmer, and he's got a pretty awesome ride for us today. So Michael, what we got going on?
All right, today we have a 2014 Toyota Tacoma. This is the 4-cylinder regular cab, 2-wheel drive, literally no optioned truck. But the
most basic package, but
yes,
it looks great.
Literally, if it has any options, I would be surprised. So the story for this one is actually pretty cool, you guys. So my grandfather actually purchased this truck brand new in 2014. He was the type of guy that he always drove little trucks for his handyman lawn mowing business that he ran during retirement. And basically he mowed lawns and took care of other customers with trucks just like this, Rangers, Chevys, Toyotas.
Good stuff.
Basically from 55 till he turned 90, and was mowing 14 lawns a week, the whole business. But unfortunately in 2014, he got cancer. And it took him shockingly quick. So it was a big loss for us. I went home to take care of him with my aunt. Tragically enough, the day he found out that he was terminally ill, he decided to give this truck to my brother Kevin, who was on the autism spectrum, and he's just this sweet guy. He's now become an amazing uncle to my daughter Lana. So my grandfather just wanted to give him this truck so he could have something, and unfortunately it's been sitting outside for the last 7 years. So it is the roughest thing I've ever seen. It's but solid. So
yeah, it's in a rough shape, but not impossible to where we can't restore it. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do today. So where's Kevin right now? Does he know that we have this car here? Does he know what's going on?
This is the best part. So he graciously flew back home to the East Coast to help my mom retire out here to Los Angeles. And so right now he's in the middle of the country driving 7 to 12 hours a day with a station wagon full of crap and loud birds. And so he does not know we're here. So stay tuned towards the end of the video. We're gonna get his reaction to his truck looking as brand new as it possibly can.
We're gonna have to show him how it looked before and how it looked. Well, he'll see the after, but we do wanna make sure he looks at how it looks before. So we're gonna go ahead, hook up your brother Kevin, get this truck looking amazing, and hopefully he's gonna enjoy the results. Oh boy! So stay tuned. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into that right now. All right, guys. So first things first, before we get into any washing, we do want to take care of these wheels. Now we start off with the wheels first because the last thing that you want to worry about is washing your car, having your water sit there, coming to clean your wheels. Your water dries on your surface and you got water spots all over the place. That's one of my biggest things. I hate when that happens. So by starting off with the wheels, you clean them out, you get them out the way, you wash your car. By the time you're done rinsing everything off, your wheels are clean already, so you can just dry it all in one go.
Cool.
So the wheels, not too bad. They do, I say that, but they can do it a nice little deep cleaning. So we're gonna go ahead and use a few different products here today, just because we do wanna make sure that we get the deepest level of clean. This undercarriage, it is pretty filthy. The wheels are filthy. We wanna give it that nice clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand this over to you.
Alrighty.
So we're gonna start off this process by rinsing it. Now, rinsing is gonna be the number 1 thing before you wash your car, before you lay anything on there, wash mitts or anything wise. Rinsing it off knocks off, I would say, about 60–70% of the loose dirt, debris. That helps us, prevent the chance of scratches and swirls, and pretty much makes our life easier when it comes to actually cleaning and figuring out what we need as far as products.
Cool. All right, so just wand away.
Wand away.
You want me to hit above the tire first?
Yeah, so we'll get the undercarriage, we'll get the tire, we'll get the wheels, so however way you want to do it.
All right, stand back. Clear.
Cool, and we're done. So now we can move on to washing the car.
All right,
just kidding.
Go. Thank you. Good work, everyone.
Right. So we've rinsed it off. Now we can begin with the cleaning process. Now I usually tend to like to start on the undercarriage first and just kind of work your way down. That way, you don't clean over here, clean up here, and then the dirt gets mixed and matched in between.
Sure.
So right here, the products that we got a bucket full of brushes. Do you know what all these brushes are for? Have an idea what they are?
A few of them, yeah. I own several of them, to be honest with you, yeah.
So right here we have a bucket, water with the dirt trap. The first thing that I'm going to be doing is adding some lubrication. So one of our most popular products is our Diablo wheel gel. Now I like to have this in the bucket. I don't use it as far as my main wheel cleaner here, just because this is going to require a deeper level of cleaning. So I use this more for lubrication. and it's also gonna pretty much foam up, lather, emulsify any kind of dirt and grime from the surface. So it kind of helps you in that sense prevent scratches and swirls. This is extremely, great for like, finished wheels, like painted wheels, powder coated. Last thing that you want to do is have a nice set of wheels and scratch them all up while you're trying to clean them. The next product that we also have is going to be our Signature's wheel cleaner. Now this, just like Diablo, is a wheel cleaner. However, this is more of a citrus based slash kind of like a degreaser almost. So it's going to be a little bit stronger in strength. So if you're looking for that deeper level of clean, this is a great option to go with. And then we also have some all-purpose cleaner here, which is our All Clean. Now this is great, as you know, for most cases as far as like automotive usage, home usage, garage. You can use this on the undercarriage. The undercarriage does have a light layer of dirt, grime, have some bugs. And then we can also use it as far as the tire, just to make sure that we get that nice deep clean, so that whenever we apply our dressing, it sticks and it doesn't fling all over the side of your car. Right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually activate the suds here. All right. Now, since I mentioned Diablo is a gel, so it foams up, works great, it lathers, and it helps you with that cleaning process. So, just like that, we're all just like that, yeah. So we're all activated, our brushes are in there, so they're getting that nice lubrication on there, so whenever we go to the wheel, it gives us that lubrication factor. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand this over to you right now.
All right.
Now this is a product that we're gonna be using to clean the undercarriage and the tires. So if you wanna go ahead, spray a nice coat on that, that's gonna make sure that it breaks down all the dirt and grime, so.
Great, all right, here I go.
And then before this video, you were mentioning that you used some of our products before, like Orange Degreaser.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing.
So Orange Degreaser is another great product. I usually like using a product like this for undercarriage just because it's not so much of an intense clean, but if you do need that intense clean, Orange Degreaser works great. And as you know now, you can actually dilute it.
Yes, I did not read the instructions.
So the brush that we usually use for undercarriage, well, the one I usually like to use is our flag tip brush. Now this gray one here works out great because it's flag tip. So with these these wheel liners, they're usually like this smooth kind of plastic kind of material. So you can use a brush like this. It's flag tip. It's flexible. It gets into the grooves of everything. So I'm going to go ahead and foam this up, hand this over to you.
All right.
You can go ahead and just pretty much start scrubbing it down. It's a pretty simple, straightforward process.
All right.
Most people I feel don't really deep clean their undercarriage, because I feel like most people just kind of say, oh, it's gonna get dirty again, why even clean it? For the time being that you do clean it, it's gonna look great. And you can also apply a protectant to it. So you were mentioning that this Toyota did have like somewhat of a recall as far as like the rust on the undercarriage.
Yeah, that was my understanding, is that Toyota paid for some rust proofing with a big series of their trucks, several model years, et cetera, to basically prevent them from rusting because previous generations were. I don't think this one had any components replaced, but I wasn't there for that, so not exactly sure. But hopefully this, now that it's in Southern California, this truck will last forever because it's a Toyota.
Yeah.
All right.
And then as far as the tires, you did start using that, which is not wrong. You can actually use it. No, you're good, you're good. You can actually use that brush. The tires weren't too bad, but if you do want to achieve that nice deep level of clean, you can go with the more stiff brush like this blue stiffy here.
Okay.
Now with this brush, you can scrub it down, and this will help you get into the grooves. As you guys can see, it does have a lot of little lines in there, so you can use that to go ahead and get into the grooves, the texture, get that nice deep level of clean. Because remember, whenever you apply your dressing, you want it to bond properly. So by you scrubbing it down like this, it gets all the dirt, grime. I don't know if you've ever cleaned your wheels. Whenever you go and you touch it with your fingers, it's all dirty. So,
right.
This is a great way, an excellent way to knock off all that grime to ensure that's 100% deep clean.
Gotcha. So, yeah. I mean, there's so many different logos on tires now, and all these little grooves. Exactly. They just love to collect all the dirt.
And you can also tell, once you're cleaning it, the foam turns brown. It looks very nasty, gunky. So that's a good thing,
Yeah. No, I saw it doing its chemical goodness right away.
Yeah, so next thing that we're gonna do is clean the wheels. Now, I do like to clean the barrels first, just to make sure that we get that nice deep clean and we don't forget about it. So we're gonna be using the Signature Series wheel cleaner. Now, this right here is a very tight, spot for us to get in. So, obviously these big brushes that we're using, they may not be the best brush as far as brush combination to clean this area. And that's why we have a brush like this one, which is our red Rocket Wheel brush. Now, it does look big, small hole. However, this does flex. So whenever you go and stick it in there, it'll flex to wherever you're trying to stick it into. That way you can pretty much clean the barrel, beneath the brake caliper. As you guys can see, the brush picks up all that dirt and grime. And you can dunk it into your wheel cleaning bucket as often as you like, just to make sure that you get all the grime off the brush That way, especially if you're working on like more of a sensitive finish, you don't scratch up the finish of your wheels. So just like that, we'll go ahead and scrub the face of the wheel now. So we'll go ahead and use our flag tip brush. Now this brush is great because it's nice and soft as well. So you can get that nice deep clean without, you know, installing kind of scratches, swirls. We'll spray some more wheel cleaner onto the surface of the wheel. And this is just so that we can get all this dirt, grime out of there. As you can see, the wheel cleaner is doing a great job. It's already like turning all this dirt and grime brown.
Oh yeah, look at it go.
So I'll just go ahead and scrub this as well. We'll start off from the top, and then we'll work our way around and down the wheel. And there are some areas here that they're a little bit more intricate, so maybe this brush cannot get into it, and we'll have another brush right now in a second for you, Michael, so that we can get that nice deep clean. And that's our boar's hair brush. Now this brush is great because as you guys can see, you have all these little areas right here, the lug nuts, your valve stem, or wherever it's at. So we can go ahead and get that nice deep clean, and then just to add some more lubrication, we can spray into the brush.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you can go ahead and pretty much get that nice foaming action going on. Like stained in there, huh?
Yeah, this is pretty baked on.
All
Make sure to clean your wheels before they get old, folks, because otherwise it gets harder.
It gets hard, you know, there's some things that you won't be able to remove, you know, the pitting from all the brake dust that sits on there for, you know, however long, what was you said, 7 years? that it was
7
sitting?
years.
So just imagine 7 years of brake dust just sitting on your wheels can cause some damage. In this case, it's not too bad, it's just kind of stained in the these little crevices, which we're not gonna go ahead and fuss over about. We're just gonna, you know, it looks great to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a massive improvement,
Yeah.
and you know, this truck will never be a show truck, but it is important to the family, so we will make it look its best.
Yeah, we gotta work with what we got. So now that we're pretty much done here, Michael, what we're gonna do is just rinse it all off.
All right.
I'll give you the honors of rinsing it all off. We're all good.
Here we go. Whoops, sorry, dude.
Cool.
Wow.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, this is a big upgrade already.
You know, they weren't super crazy filthy, but you do see a big difference. The wheel's a lot brighter. It looks great, and when we dry it and we apply our dressing, you know, it's gonna stay looking as wet as how it looks right now.
Big.
Cool?
It's already a night and day difference.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and pretty much finish up the rest of the wheels, wrap up the other three, finish with the wheels, and then get into the wash process.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, let's do it. All right, Michael, we're done with the wheels. Now it's time to get into this wash. So right here, we got a ton of stuff. Don't worry, I'm gonna break it all down for you. I know you know what most of the stuff is, but we'll just go over it again.
Bucket.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
All right.
Quote that right there. Bucket. 2 dirt traps. These are filtrations for our buckets. Obviously, we don't want to scratch up the car. It's the last thing that we want to do. So we want to make sure that we wash it as properly as we can. So these set at the bottom of your bucket. These are filled with water. You just go in at an angle. You set them down towards the bottom, and they stay there.
Cool.
It's as easy as that. So the next thing that we're going to do is also give the car a pre-rinse. So just like the wheels and the undercarriage, we're going to rinse it down from the loose dirt and debris. We also have a combination of soaps as well as our big mouth foam cannon, which we're going to use, which I'm going to let you have all the fun, foam it up and get this nice and clean. But our soap combination here, we have 2 soaps here actually.
Oh, okay.
So first one's Honeydew Snow Foam. Second one is our Clean Slate Surface Cleanser. Now the reason that we're using this combination is because Honeydew foams up great. And then this is also the Clean Slate's gonna help us break down any kind of sealant or wax on the surface. So, you know, before you even get it to any kind of polishing, applying a wax, sealant, ceramic coating, any of that good stuff, you're gonna wanna use something like this to wash your car in preparation for that. And that's just gonna remove anything that's on the surface so it doesn't interfere with the bond, shine. It's not gonna change the shine, sorry. It's just gonna, you know, not give you the full effect of the, the long lasting of the coating or the wax or whichever it is that you're going to be applying. So for this process, we're going to be using our big mouth foam cannon. We're going to take off this top right here. And then we're going to start off by putting an ounce of Honeydew Snow Foam. So we're going to go ahead and pretty much, you can measure it if you like. I usually just eyeball it, give it one good squirt. You're all good to go. And then you can also give it one good squirt of the Clean Slate. And you're all good to go.
Wow, I didn't know you could combine the soaps like that. That's cool.
So I usually combine this specific, combo of soaps just because the Honeydew Snow Foam and the Clean Slate gives you best of the both worlds. So the Honeydew Snow Foam gives you that nice sudsing factor, foams up, gives you that nice deep cleaning, and then the Clean Slate kind of all the much more helps it. So the Clean Slate kind of infuses with the soap, with the foam. So as you lay down that coat of foam, it's also taking the time to break down that sealant and wax.
Cool.
So that's pretty much the beauty of this combination. But with that being said, all we have left is our wash mitts. Now we do have two different ones. Which one do you want?
Oh, this is the one I have at home, but I'm happy to try out the glove as well.
So this one right here is our Stranger. So this is fully microfiber. It's dual-sided and it has 5 fingers, just like your hand. So you can go ahead and put...
Yeah, he's right.
So you can put this into your hand, and the reason I like this wash mitt is because it works out great for these intricate areas such as like the door handles.
Oh, wow.
The grill, so you can get nice and deep in there. As you guys can see, this wash mitt's great for like covering more broader surfaces. We'll just go ahead and start it up.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
if you want, grab the pressure washer handle, give this car a full rinse, starting from top, work your way around, down, and then we'll get into that foam.
All right, cool.
All right, Michael, car's foamed up. At this point, what I like to do is set up my soap buckets. So since we didn't do this before while we set up our foam cannon, we're gonna do it now.
Cool.
So the bucket that we have the green dirt trap in, whichever bucket you like, you just wanna dedicate one as your soap bucket. In this case, I'm gonna dedicate it as a green one. So I'm gonna put about an ounce of soap in there. And I'm also gonna put some Clean Slate just to get even some further more deep cleaning. So now that you have that set up, just like how we did the wheels, we're gonna activate this. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go crazy.
Like it's margarita time.
There it is. So just like that, we activate the suds. We can go ahead and dump our wash mitts in there. And then we can go ahead and just pretty much get into this cleaning process.
Awesome.
Cool. So we can go ahead and grab our wash mitts here. You guys, if you don't already know, usually start from the top, work our way down. So we'll work on the top, on the roof. Luckily, this truck's not that tall.
No ladders required.
So we can start off from the top of the car and pretty much work our way down in straight motions. Now, do you know why we go straight motions?
Yes, sir, to not introduce more swirl marks.
Exactly. So this prevents the chance of us picking up anything on the wash mitt and then, mimicking that circular motion around the car, thus, resulting in a swirl-like scratch. So that's what we want to prevent. So, the point of this whole thing is to get this paint looking as good as possible and not scratching it all up, just by washing it. You can also use both sides of your wash mitt. So depending on, the side that gets dirty, you can flip it around, cover more section so that way you're not going back and forth from your bucket and your wash water as frequently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And now just dunk it in here and rub it against the
exact dirt trap.
Dirt trap. Gotcha.
And just pretty much wring out all that, wring it out, and then you can go ahead and grab some more cleaning suds.
Cool.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of, making sure that your wash mitt is nice and clean before you go back into the car,
Gotcha. Oh yeah, man, this mitt is fantastic for door handles. That is so good.
This goes in nicely.
Well, usually I have that one, right? And I'm trying to I'm gonna get in there. But no, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it works out great. You can use it wet or dry. So if you wanted to, you can use it for your interior as well to dust off your dashboard, your door panels and stuff like that.
Oh, that is something I'm gonna be doing the next time I come over here. It's buying one of these and
seems like a pretty simple kind of product, but it has tons of uses for it.
Yeah, that's very cool. And then of course, by the time that this video is out, we'll be well past Father's Day. But I just got an email from your PR folks about your Father's Day microfiber bathrobe, which is just so cool.
Freaking awesome.
You know, it's like
nice and thick, the perfect gift for Father's Day, or even if you just want to give it after Father's Day. You know, it's perfect to wear around the house, or even if you just want to detail on it, knock yourself out.
yeah, I kind of imagine it like, do you want to take care of yourself as well as your car? You know, do you?
Well, like, you know, so many people love the woolly mammoth drying towel already, so why not, you know, wrap yourself in one?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite.
Now, one thing I do want to point out before we get into this drying process is that on the hood, you'll see that there's a lot of water still stuck on the surface. Now, usually you'll see like, you know, water beading or anything like that. Whenever you have those water beads, it's kind of like to show you that there's a form of protection on here. Now, in this case, since the water's not beading, it's kind of sticking to the surface. This is just pretty much an indication that we know that our Clean Slate did its job. It broke down all the waxes, sealants, and anything that lands on this paint is going to stick to it because there's no, you know, protection on there. So the water's going to want to stick to it. In this case, we've stripped everything that we know. Then we'll go ahead and get into the drying process. I'll hand you one of these.
All right.
And then we can also use our Pro Blow, which is great for getting the water off from like the crevices, the seals, the gas cap, the wheels. Makes drying a lot easier as far as like those hard to reach places. But as far as like the broad, the area, the hood, the roof, the glass, I usually like using something like this just because it picks up the water all that much easier.
Awesome.
Let's do it. All right, Michael, so it looks like we're all done here. Now the truck is fully washed, it's dry, and now we can see the paint for what it is. So from the top of my head, I am gonna say that this is gonna need a multi-step correction.
Yeah.
So the paint, it didn't look as bad in the shade as we first thought, but now looking at it in the sun, it looks pretty rough. So we do wanna make sure that this paint looks as good as we can possibly get it. So we're gonna go ahead and conclude this first part of this video in this series. So we're gonna leave it at that. Join us on part 2 where we show you guys how to clay, polish, and protect this truck and, you know, get it looking to as good as we can get it.
Yeah, and you're going to get to see the full reaction
Full
surprise
reaction, exactly.
as well for that. So yeah, we're good news, bad news, but I'm very excited. Thank you so much, you guys, and let's move on to the next part.
Let's do it. All right, see you guys then.